Ladies and gentlemen, today we stand at the intersection of love, philosophy, and the mysteries of human connection. The title of our discourse is "In Each Other They Found Magic," a phrase that at first glance might evoke thoughts of fairy tales or fantasy. However, as we delve into the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we shall discover that true magic is not mystical or fleeting. It is something profound, grounded in virtue, wisdom, and acceptance. Magic is a word often associated with mystery, wonder, and the supernatural. It conjures up images of wizards casting spells, fairy tales of love at first sight, and moments of inexplicable awe. But in the Stoic view, magic is not some external force that can be harnessed or controlled. It is something that exists within the essence of life itself, particularly in the way we connect with others. The magic that Stoicism teaches us to seek is rooted in something far deeper than enchantment. It is about the way we relate to one another, the way we experience life, and the way we cultivate virtue within ourselves and in others. When we speak of the magic in a relationship, Stoics would argue that it is not found in fleeting emotions or external circumstances, but in the quality of the bond between two people, a bond formed through wisdom, virtue, and mutual understanding. This form of magic arises from the deep, meaningful connections we create when we meet another person who shares in our pursuit of a life lived with purpose and virtue. In this way, the Stoics would ask us to view magic as a natural consequence of living a virtuous life, where our actions, grounded in reason, bring about a connection that transcends the superficial. To the Stoics, what might seem like an ephemeral spark of magic in a relationship is really the result of two people engaging with each other from a place of clarity, intentionality, and virtuous action. They would suggest that the true magic is not in the external world, but in the cultivation of inner qualities such as self-control, wisdom, and courage. When two people come together, not to seek external validation or fleeting pleasure, but to align themselves in a shared commitment to wisdom, the connection between them is no longer superficial. It is the kind of bond that endures and transforms, because it is founded on what is truly valuable, virtue. This type of magic is not about relying on external circumstances to bring about happiness or fulfillment. Rather, it comes from the cultivation of inner strength and self-awareness. A Stoic would say that true love and connection arise when we can see one another clearly, without idealizing or romanticizing the person. True magic exists in accepting the other person for who they are in their totality, their strengths and flaws, and yet still choosing to engage in a relationship based on mutual respect and shared values. To embrace this deeper kind of magic, we must also recognize that it is not always easy. Relationships, especially those that aim to foster growth and virtue, require effort and a commitment to self-discipline. It is a relationship where each person strives to act with wisdom and integrity, where love is not based on fleeting desires or whims, but on a deep sense of duty to the other's well-being and flourishing. This, according to Stoic philosophy, is where real magic resides, not in searching for perfection, but in recognizing the shared humanity of both individuals and striving to support one another through the pursuit of virtue. Furthermore, magic in this Stoic sense is not about escaping the difficulties of life, it is about confronting them together. The Stoics believed that life is filled with challenges, and these challenges can serve as the crucible in which our virtue is tested and strengthened. In relationships, this magic is discovered not when everything is easy or when both parties are in perfect alignment, but in how they respond to difficulties and growth opportunities. The true test of a relationship's magic, in Stoic terms, is how both individuals respond to adversity, not with blame, but with a desire to learn, grow, and support one another. In this way, the magic of relationships is not some ethereal, external force that can be lost or found by chance. It is cultivated intentionally through daily practices of patience, kindness, understanding, and mutual respect. It is the steady, deliberate cultivation of virtue in oneself and in the other, a connection that deepens over time and endures through life's inevitable challenges. And in this process of mutual cultivation and shared growth, the magic that emerges is something far more profound than any fleeting enchantment. It is the magic of life itself, fully lived in connection with another person who, like us, seeks to live virtuously and meaningfully. True magic in relationships, according to Stoic philosophy, is not found in the surface-level qualities or fleeting emotions that often define modern love. Instead, it is found in the cultivation and manifestation of virtue. For the Stoic, virtue represents the highest good, a quality that is intrinsic, consistent, and timeless. When two individuals come together, the magic they share is not the result of mere attraction or temporary infatuation, but the product of a shared commitment to virtue, wisdom, courage, self-control, and justice. The Stoics believed that virtue is the key to a fulfilled and meaningful life, and it is through this pursuit of virtue that any relationship can thrive. True connection arises not from superficial qualities like beauty or wealth, but from the internal qualities that define our character. It is when two people engage with one another not as perfect beings, but as works in progress, each striving to embody virtues such as kindness, patience, and honesty, that real magic happens. This magic does not lie in grand gestures or dramatic moments, but in the small, everyday acts of virtue that build a foundation of trust and respect. When each person in the relationship seeks to live virtuously, not for the other's approval or out of some external obligation, but because they understand that this is the path to a life of flourishing, the bond between them becomes something deeper, more meaningful, and more lasting. Virtue, for the Stoics, is not an abstract concept. It is the very core of how we engage with the world and with each other. For example, love rooted in virtue is not a love that seeks to possess or control, but one that recognizes and respects the autonomy of the other. It is not a love that demands perfection, but one that accepts imperfection and supports growth. In this sense, a relationship based on virtue is one where each person is dedicated to helping the other become their best self, not by imposing ideals or expectations, but by offering support, guidance, and understanding. This dynamic creates a space where both individuals are free to flourish, not just together, but as individuals. Courage, another cornerstone of Stoic virtue, also plays a central role in relationships. In a relationship founded on virtue, courage is necessary to face the challenges that inevitably arise. Love in this context is not about avoiding conflict or running away from difficult conversations. It is about having the courage to confront issues openly, honestly, and with respect for one another. When both individuals in a relationship have the courage to speak their truth, to address difficult emotions, and to work through disagreements with mutual respect, they build a bond that is stronger and more resilient. Self-control, too, is a key element in cultivating virtue within a relationship. In a world that often encourages instant gratification and the pursuit of pleasure, self-control allows individuals to make decisions based on long-term values rather than short-term long-term desires. In relationships, this manifests as the ability to choose love over anger, patience over frustration, and understanding over judgment. Self-control helps individuals remain grounded even in the face of life's inevitable ups and downs, ensuring that the relationship is not driven by fleeting emotions or external circumstances, but by a steady commitment to what is truly good and virtuous. When two people come together, each focused on the development of their own virtue and the support of the others, they create a partnership that is not only deeply fulfilling but transformative. In this relationship, the magic is not found in external circumstances, but in the shared pursuit of what is noble and virtuous. By focusing on their inner qualities and striving to become better versions of themselves, they contribute to one another's growth and create a relationship that is not only sustainable but deeply meaningful. In essence, the true magic of a relationship in Stoic terms is not in the fleeting sparks of passion or the temporary highs of affection, but in the steady, unwavering commitment to virtue. It is in the daily practice of embodying the qualities that contribute to personal and collective flourishing: wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control, that individuals find the kind of magic that transcends the trivial and the transient. In this way, love becomes not just a feeling, but a way of life, a way of living together in mutual respect and support, rooted in the pursuit of virtue, and in this pursuit, they find the most profound kind of magic of all. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of flourishing is central to living a good life. This idea extends beyond individual achievement and encompasses the growth of the person as a whole, including their relationships with others. True flourishing occurs when we not only pursue our own virtue, but also encourage and support the flourishing of those around us. This is where the magic in relationships truly manifests, when two people come together not simply to share experiences, but to help each other grow into the best versions of themselves. Stoicism teaches that our ultimate goal is to live in accordance with nature, which for humans means developing our rational minds and cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. This cultivation is not an isolated act, but is deeply intertwined with our relationships. The Stoics believed that human beings are social creatures by nature, and part of our flourishing involves contributing to the well-being of others. In a relationship, this means that the growth of one person should contribute to the growth of the other, and together they can create a dynamic where both individuals are able to flourish in ways they could not on their own. Flourishing in a relationship from the Stoic perspective does not mean seeking happiness from the other person or expecting them to fulfill our desires. Instead, it is about mutual support in the shared journey of becoming virtuous and wise. In this way, a relationship becomes a partnership where each person is dedicated to the growth and well-being of the other. This does not mean that one person is responsible for the other's happiness or success, but rather that both individuals are committed to helping each other navigate life's challenges and grow through them. It is through this shared pursuit of virtue and wisdom that true flourishing occurs. As individuals, we are constantly evolving. Our challenges, experiences, and interactions with others shape us, but the most profound growth often occurs within the context of our closest relationships. In a healthy and virtuous relationship, both people encourage and push each other to become better, not by criticism or judgment, but through understanding, compassion, and mutual respect. They create an environment where each person feels supported and safe enough to confront their flaws and work towards self-improvement. Rather than seeing each other as a source of external validation or fulfillment, they see each other as partners in the shared journey of becoming their best selves. This kind of mutual growth is the essence of flourishing in a relationship. When both individuals focus not just on their own development, but also on the development of the other, they create a bond that deepens over time. Rather than being based on external factors like shared interests or appearances, the relationship becomes rooted in the ongoing process of growing together. Each person becomes a mirror for the other, reflecting back both strengths and areas for improvement. And in this reflective process, they both gain a deeper understanding of themselves and the other, allowing them to evolve in ways that enrich the relationship. This shared growth is also vital when facing difficulties. The Stoics understood that life is filled with challenges. Pain, loss, failure, and hardship are inevitable. However, it is through adversity that our character is often most refined. In a relationship founded on virtue, both people approach these challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. Instead of allowing difficulties to tear them apart, they face them together, using each challenge as a means to strengthen their bond. They learn to adapt, to support each other, and to see adversity as an integral part of the flourishing process. Flourishing within a relationship is not a one-time achievement, but a continual process. It requires patience, effort, and a commitment to the ongoing work of becoming better people. As individuals grow in virtue, the relationship itself becomes a platform for both partners to thrive. In this way, relationships based on shared growth and mutual flourishing are far more resilient and lasting, for they are built not on fleeting moments or external circumstances, but on a deep, enduring commitment to becoming the best versions of themselves, both individually and together. In a relationship where mutual flourishing is prioritized, both individuals understand that their personal growth is intertwined with the growth of the other. The relationship becomes a source of strength, support, and inspiration, pushing each person toward greater wisdom and virtue. This shared journey of flourishing is the true magic in relationships, not the mere coexistence of two people, but the way in which their lives are elevated and enriched through the constant, intentional effort to grow together. In Stoic philosophy, there is a profound understanding of the impermanence of all things, and this principle extends to relationships as well. Life itself is constantly changing. Everything, from our thoughts to our circumstances, is in flux. The Stoics teach us that nothing in this world is permanent, and in accepting this truth, we can achieve a deeper, more meaningful connection with others. When we embrace the impermanence of relationships, rather than fearing it or resisting it, we gain the freedom to love more fully, to be present in the moment, and to appreciate the connection we share without becoming attached to the idea that it will last forever. This awareness of impermanence allows us to engage with others in a way that is rooted in the present. Instead of worrying about the future or regretting the past, we learn to appreciate what is happening now, the love, the shared experiences, and the moments of growth. By accepting that all relationships are transient, we begin to live in a state of gratitude and mindfulness, not taking any moment for granted, knowing that it is a gift. The magic of relationships, then, lies not in their permanence, but in their ability to offer us joy, companionship, and learning for the time they exist. From a Stoic perspective, embracing impermanence is about understanding that the value of a relationship is not tied to its duration, but to the quality of the connection and the growth it fosters in both individuals. The love, respect, and understanding that we cultivate in a relationship are not diminished by the knowledge that it may not last forever. In fact, this awareness makes each moment more precious as we realize that time is limited, and as such, we must fully experience and appreciate the relationship we have in the present. This philosophy also teaches us not to cling to relationships or try to control their outcome. When we resist change or try to force a relationship to fit a particular mold, we create unnecessary suffering for ourselves and others. Instead of holding tightly to what we want or expect, the Stoic teaches us to accept things as they are, understanding that change is natural and inevitable. This acceptance allows for a deeper freedom and peace, as we are no longer dependent on the external conditions of our relationships to determine our happiness. We begin to find joy in the relationship itself, in the shared moments, and in the process of growth and connection, rather than in a fixed future outcome. Moreover, impermanence helps us to cultivate resilience. In relationships, as in life, we face moments of difficulty, misunderstanding, and loss. The Stoics did not believe in avoiding pain, but in facing it with grace and understanding. When we recognize that life is fleeting, we develop the strength to move through difficult times with equanimity. We understand that pain and loss are an inevitable part of human existence, and we choose to embrace these challenges as opportunities for growth. This acceptance of impermanence allows us to face the highs and lows of relationships without being undone by them, knowing that each moment, whether joyful or painful, contributes to our greater understanding of life and love. Another aspect of embracing impermanence is the realization that relationships, like everything else, will inevitably change. The people we meet, love, and care for may evolve, as will we. People grow, circumstances shift, and needs change over time. This is not something to fear, but something to embrace as part of the natural course of life. By accepting that relationships may take on different forms over time, we are freed from the pressure of trying to keep everything exactly as it was. We learn to adapt, to find new ways to relate, and to appreciate the changing dynamics of a relationship as it evolves. In this way, the Stoic view on impermanence teaches us to love without attachment, to give freely and fully without clinging to the idea of possession or permanence. This kind of love is not fragile because it does not depend on external conditions. It is rooted in the deep understanding that all relationships are temporary, and this very temporality makes them all the more precious. Rather than fearing the inevitable changes and endings that come with time, we are empowered to live more fully in each moment, appreciating the love we share without clinging to the idea that it must last forever. Thus, the true magic in relationships, from a Stoic perspective, lies not in the belief that love should be permanent, but in the acceptance that love, like all things, is transient. It is in the embrace of impermanence that we learn to value the present, to love deeply without expectation, and to find peace in the inevitable ebb and flow of life. In this acceptance, we discover the freedom to experience life and love in their truest, most meaningful forms. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of living in accordance with nature, and part of that natural existence involves being fully present in the moment. This focus on the present is not merely an abstract or idealistic notion. It is a deeply practical approach to life that allows us to experience the world and our relationships with clarity and depth. In the context of love and relationships, the Stoics would argue that the real magic lies not in the past or the future, but in how we engage with the person in front of us right now. Often, we are consumed by the past, whether by memories of previous relationships, past mistakes, or the way things used to be. Alternatively, we can become preoccupied with the future, worrying about what might happen, fearing what we might lose, or planning for a future that is uncertain and beyond our control. But the Stoic wisdom teaches that these distractions pull us away from what truly matters, the present moment. To fully engage with a person, to truly love and connect, we must be able to set aside our attachment to the past and our anxieties about the future. Only in the present can we experience love for what it truly is, unclouded by regret or fear. In relationships, this focus on the present is transformative. When we live fully in the moment, we become more attuned to our partner's needs, emotions, and state of being. Rather than projecting our own desires or expectations onto them, we begin to see them as they truly are, in the here and now. This type of presence allows for a deeper level of connection, as we stop trying to fit our partner into an idealized version of what we want them to be, and instead appreciate them for their authentic self. The magic of love, then, is found in this shared experience of being present with one another. We are not simply moving through life alongside each other, but we are truly experiencing it together, moment by moment. This shared experience creates a bond that is not based on the fleeting emotions of the past or the uncertainties of the future, but on the mutual understanding and presence in the current moment. Each conversation, each look, each gesture becomes imbued with a deeper meaning because both individuals are fully engaged, open to one another, and present to the reality of the relationship as it exists now. To live in the present is also to practice mindfulness, being aware of our thoughts, feelings, and actions, as well as the impact they have on our partner. When we are fully present in a relationship, we are not only aware of the other person, but also aware of ourselves. We recognize when our actions are aligned with virtue, and we notice when we are being driven by impatience, anger, or other disruptive emotions. This self-awareness allows us to act with intention and wisdom, responding to our partner with understanding rather than reaction. In this way, we cultivate a space where both individuals can express themselves freely, without fear of judgment or miscommunication, because both are grounded in the present. Living in the moment also means releasing the need to control outcomes or cling to expectations. Too often, we become attached to an idea of what the relationship should be, or what we hope it will become in the future. This attachment can cloud our judgment and prevent us from appreciating what is right in front of us. The Stoic view teaches us that we can't control the future, and often we can't even control how others act or feel. What we can control, however, is how we show up in the present. When we approach relationships with a sense of detachment from future outcomes, we allow them to unfold naturally. This detachment does not mean we stop caring or that we are indifferent to the relationship's progress. Rather, it means we are willing to accept whatever comes, knowing that the only true moment we can influence is the present one. In the context of love, this attitude toward the present creates an atmosphere of peace and contentment. It allows both individuals to stop searching for external validation or reassurance, and instead, they find fulfillment in simply being with each other, in experiencing life together as it is. The magic that emerges in these relationships is not found in perfect plans or idealistic visions of the future, but in the willingness to embrace what is real right now. Through the lens of Stoic philosophy, living in the present is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate a meaningful and lasting connection. It removes the weight of regret and fear, replacing them with a deep appreciation for the relationship in its truest form. In this space, both individuals can experience the fullness of love, not as something contingent on the future or the past, but as something that exists and thrives in the present moment, where true connection and genuine growth can occur. The magic of love, then, is not something that needs to be chased or sought after. It is found right here, right now, in the shared experience of living and loving fully in the present. The Stoic philosophy teaches that one of the most powerful tools for navigating relationships, and indeed life itself, is the practice of equanimity and evenness of mind in both good times and bad. Relationships, by their very nature, are filled with fluctuations, moments of joy, conflict, growth, and sometimes even pain. To truly find the magic in each other, as the Stoics would argue, is to understand that the ability to remain balanced, calm, and rational amidst these ups and downs is essential. Equanimity allows us to respond to each moment with clarity and grace, without being tossed about by the storms of emotions or circumstances. In relationships, emotions can often run high. We may feel intense joy, love, or excitement, but we may also experience frustration, anger, or sadness. The Stoic path, however, teaches us that while we cannot control the emotions we feel, we can control how we respond to them. Equanimity does not require suppressing emotions, but rather understanding them in the context of what is within our control. It involves choosing how we act in response to these emotions, ensuring that we do not allow them to dictate our behavior or cloud our judgment. When we cultivate equanimity in our relationships, we learn to approach our partner not with impulsive reactions, but with thoughtful responses. For instance, if a disagreement arises, we can pause and consider the situation without immediately reacting out of frustration or anger. This doesn't mean we deny our feelings, but we allow space to process them before acting. This space is what allows for clearer communication, greater understanding, and ultimately stronger connections. It helps us see our partner's point of view without jumping to conclusions or making assumptions, fostering an environment of empathy and mutual respect. One of the most remarkable aspects of practicing equanimity in a relationship is that it creates a sense of stability. Relationships thrive when both individuals can remain calm and balanced in the face of challenges. When external circumstances or emotions shift, equanimity ensures that the internal foundation of the relationship remains firm. For example, during moments of conflict, instead of escalating the situation or retreating into defensive positions, both partners can respond with clarity and calm. This response, in turn, promotes a healthier dialogue and a stronger bond, because both individuals are not only dealing with the issue at hand, but also fostering a sense of trust and respect by maintaining composure. Equanimity also allows us to approach change with grace. Change is inevitable in any relationship, whether it's the evolution of personal growth, external challenges, or the natural development of the relationship itself. When we approach these changes with equanimity, we can embrace them with open minds, knowing that change, though sometimes difficult, can also be an opportunity for growth. If one partner's circumstances shift, perhaps due to a new job, a relocation, or a change in personal goals, equanimity allows the other partner to meet that change with understanding and adaptability rather than resistance or fear. Additionally, equanimity fosters gratitude. When we are able to step back and view our relationships with a calm and balanced perspective, we are more likely to appreciate the present moment and all that we share with our partner. We are not bogged down by the longing for things to be different or by the weight of past mistakes. Instead, we can see the relationship for what it truly is, a unique, ever-changing journey that is as much about mutual growth as it is about love and companionship. Equanimity allows us to embrace the imperfections of our partner and of ourselves, acknowledging that life, like relationships, is inherently imperfect. In doing so, we can focus on the beauty of the present and the magic of the connection we share, rather than getting lost in what might have been or what could be. In a relationship, the practice of equanimity also deepens our understanding of the true nature of love. Love is not a constant, unchanging feeling, but a dynamic force that requires attention, care, and balance. When we approach love with equanimity, we learn to love not out of need, dependency, or expectation, but as a conscious and deliberate choice. We love our partner not because we need them to fill a void, but because we choose to engage with them fully, accepting both their strengths and flaws. This understanding allows us to love more freely, without the burden of unrealistic expectations or the anxiety of attachment. The magic that Stoicism speaks of in relationships is, in many ways, the result of this balance. It is not the magic of perfect harmony or endless bliss, but the deeper magic of mutual respect, understanding, and calm. It is the magic of being able to stand beside one another, face the challenges that life presents, and grow together with patience and equanimity. This kind of love is enduring because it is grounded in the present moment, in virtue, and in the ability to face life's inevitable ups and downs with grace. It is a love that doesn't require perfection, but thrives in the space where both individuals can remain true to themselves and to each other, in the full knowledge that life's unpredictability is part of the beauty and strength of the bond they share. In conclusion, the Stoic perspective on relationships reveals a profound and enduring understanding of love and connection. True magic in relationships does not arise from fleeting emotions, superficial attractions, or external circumstances, but from the shared pursuit of virtue, mutual growth, and a deep understanding of impermanence. By embracing virtue, we build a foundation of respect and support, where both individuals can flourish together. Recognizing the fleeting nature of all things allows us to appreciate each moment for its inherent value, rather than clinging to illusions of permanence or expectations of the future. Through equanimity, we can navigate the ups and downs of life with grace, fostering stronger, more resilient bonds. Ultimately, the magic of love from a Stoic viewpoint is found not in perfection or control, but in the conscious effort to be present, to grow together, and to embrace both the joy and challenges of shared existence. By living in accordance with nature and cultivating these Stoic principles, we unlock the true depth and power of love, a love that transcends time, circumstance, and emotion, and becomes a lasting source of growth, peace, and connection.